Listen, there are legitimate ways to achieve financial freedom. You can get there. There are paths for that. But you know what? Most consumers never find them because they get caught up in a trap. And I call it the get-rich trap. And there are 3 major get-rich traps that are hurting people financially the most. Let me share with you what they are, how to avoid them, but more importantly, how you get on the right path. All right, so what is a get-rich trap? Well, you've probably heard of get-rich-quick traps, which means people get duped into these ideas for making money that aren't real. Maybe they're Ponzi schemes, but there's a lot of just normal get-rich traps. Like some of them come from society, like some of them come from your neighbors, and people fall for them all the time. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there are real ways of creating wealth, but there's a whole lot of garbage out there. I'm gonna show you the 3 biggest turd piles you've ever seen. Let's talk about something that you're likely familiar with, because this is good advice. The usual path to building wealth goes something like this. Step 1, make more money than you spend, right? Like live below your means, and the more that you can save, the better. Step 2, invest in appreciating assets. Buy a business, buy real estate. That's what rich people have, assets. Number 3, you leverage those assets to scale up, meaning, oh, I borrowed some equity out of this business, out of this home. I used it to multiply more homes and more business. And then number 4, you systematize, you repeat, you hire people to do it all for you. The question is, how can you break into the investing world if you're too busy living check to check, and on top of that, maybe getting caught up into these get-rich traps? All right, the first of the 3 get-rich traps is best represented by Dave Ramsey. Now, if you're a subscriber on my channel, you know that from time to time I bring his name up because this is the kind of stuff that he espouses. Number 1, save 3 months of an emergency fund. Very, very Dave Ramsey-esque. Then you're gonna pay off all your debts. Then you're gonna dollar cost average into the stock market with index funds. And then you're gonna play it safe. You're gonna avoid risk. You're not gonna buy real estate. You're not gonna buy businesses. You're not gonna invest. You're just going to accumulate, as in, if I just save hard enough, I can get a big enough pile at the end of the day. But this advice does you no good if you can't find a way ultimately to increase your income during your working life into anything meaningful. And that's the problem. You look at the stats, someone that is like, I went to college, I got smart, worked for someone else, I saved more, and I 401k'd and I IRA'd, that person has on average just over $200,000 accumulated from a lifetime of savings. Maybe their house is half paid off or paid off, but what it means is, at the high point, they were literally living off of nearly $100,000 a year. That was the height of their income. And they've only saved a couple $100,000. What's it gonna do? Last you 2, 3, maybe 4 years into retirement if you're literally minimizing your expenses? You're gonna live another 25 years, but you don't have the money to do that. Why? You didn't take risks. You played it safe. You did everything you could to avoid risk because you thought risk was bad. And the second get-rich trap, and I know you've heard of this one, this is the multi-level marketing trap. Over 20 million Americans participate in MLMs as of 2020 in the hopes of making extra money. But you know what? This is how the math really turns out. 75% either lose money or barely break even. Of the 25% that make a profit, 20% make less than $10,000 and only 0.5% make 6 figures. I want you to think about that. How do you feel about participating in a business where 1 in 200 people get to 6 figures and the majority of people fail, lose money, or don't even break even? It's not very sustainable. And with such low levels of success, how could you espouse that, evangelize that, or share that with other people? The reality is when you involve other people, you want to know that they have a high chance of success, not a low chance. So where does that leave us for number 3? Well, number 1 is the accumulation trap, thinking, well, if I just save hard enough, I'll get there. No, you're not. Number 2, I'm going to join some kind of Ponzi scheme or get rich quick scheme because I got to figure out how to make a lot of money in a short period of time. Most people fail out of that. This is number 3. It's called the spend now, think later rich trap. And this can be taken one of 2 ways. It's either, well, I just can't get there anyway. I'm just going to be reckless and loose with my money, which is why 64% of Americans live check to check. But this can also mean that once you get a little cash, You don't just snap at the first investment opportunity that pops up. The Federal Trade Commission showed that Americans lost $2.6 billion on investment scams in 2022 alone. In other words, they're not financially educated. They're not reading books about money. They're not surrounding themselves with financially intelligent people, business owners, people that have financially been around the block. This is not their first rodeo. On your own, when you lone wolf it, you can get suckered into all sorts of garbage out there. Which means ultimately, there's gotta be a much more intelligent way. And right now, I'm gonna share with you, instead of these get rich quick scams, I'm gonna share with you my favorite way that I've consistently seen other people financially win. Do you remember what we went to college for in the first place? To learn skills, so that we could go into a job market and we could literally get the trade of those skills for some money. At any point, have you actually ever asked the question, which skills pay you more money? This might surprise you. Avoid these traps entirely by building a different kind of skill set. The ultimate skill in business is being able to find and hand off quality leads. Literally, marketers make the most money. And check this out. There's a reason why sales and marketing pros make on average 50% more than the typical American salary. And you know what I do? I've developed a system that shows people an easy, simple, free place to go to find leads, and then literally put something in front of them that makes them so much better off financially, and you get paid a grundle in the meantime. Check this out. What I'm talking about here is OPM, and you've probably heard of it. Not opium, OPM, other people's money. It's the secret behind every fortune ever made. Instead of trying to invest with your own income, leverage someone else's wealth by finding a way to make them richer for a piece of their returns in exchange. Literally, I do this all the time. For example, I have a system where I've transacted over 6,000 single family homes, literally almost $2 billion worth of real estate. And on average, that system produces 25+% annual ROI. Now think about that. That means that if someone has $50,000 sitting in like a 401k, over 20 years, they're gonna triple it into $160,000. I've got a system on over 6,000 deals over 2 decades where that same 50,000 doesn't triple. It literally increases 27 times because it's compounding at 25% minimum ROI. That means that a single home has the power to compound into $4.3 million. And when people find out about this, and they've got money sitting in a 401k or an IRA, etc., they partner with me. I do 100% of the work. They put up the cash. They get to be relatively passive. And all of a sudden, this system works and it makes money. Which kind of brings up this interesting point. What if you, who, let's just assume for a moment that you like my social media, my book, my channels, maybe you've been to my events, you're a raving fan. Did you know there's a really simple way for you to tell other people about me through like LinkedIn systems and automated systems that don't require you to literally know anybody? And anyone who's interested from your cut and paste model that partners with me, what would that mean for you in the game of real estate? Check this out. I want to share with you one of my favorite innovations that I released a few years ago because it has financially done so well for people. Check it out. How would you like to own real estate with me by making someone else richer? Well, literally, there are systems. You may know people, but there's also people you don't know. And I've got a simple LinkedIn system where people literally find others that are engaged or interested in real estate. They basically say, hey, do you know Kris Krohn? They're cutting and pasting some information, and all of a sudden, they're coming over to my team, learning about what I do. They're looking at my $2 billion track record, and then all of a sudden they're like, dude, I want to partner with Kris. And when they do, check out what happens. I have something called the Maverick Program, where 25% of all the money made in real estate, because the 50% I get, half of that, 25% to you, 25% to me, we split that, and all of a sudden you build a portfolio of real estate using other people's money when you never really needed money in the first place. That is a legitimate way of building incredible amounts of wealth, and I have people making fortunes doing this very thing. And if you'd like to learn about partnering with me in real estate and getting a piece of the action, click the link below, learn about my Maverick program, and let me show you how. People often feel regret that their money is trapped in a 401k. It feels like it's in prison and they want to know how to get it out. And I've got 3 different secret ways that you can work at pulling money out of your 401k so you can get on your path to a better financial future. Check out this video right here and let me show you those 3 secret ways right now.